Hello and welcome to Unmuted Friday. Today we are going to discuss a very important subject which is related to QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Edition. So we all know that QuickBooks is a very capable solution. It is being used primarily as an accounting system. It is being popular as an accounting system, but still QuickBooks has all the modules which is comparable to any popular ERP application nowadays. So QuickBooks, for a long time, they were focusing, I think for more than a decade, QuickBooks focusing on QuickBooks Online. They are trying to push QuickBooks Online more and more. And QuickBooks Online is becoming popular everywhere in the globe. But still, we are seeing that QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Edition is something which is a nice choice nowadays and gaining popularity. Being on-prem solution, it is still being useful and still being used by enterprises nowadays. So I have, along with me, I have Sanjana. So hello everyone, my name is Shubhajit. I am VP Sales at Appsy Connect. I have Sanjana from our pre-sales team in Appsy Connect. She is also working in Appsy Connect.
Hi everyone.
We were being exposed to QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Edition, integrating it with other applications recently. And I have few questions which I'd like to ask to Sanjana, since she has worked with these application for last few days. So Sanjana, I have few questions for you which would unravel some of the details around QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Edition. So my first question is, you have recently worked with this solution. We can call it an accounting system, we can call it an ERP system, whatever. But what is your experience with QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise Edition? How is it performing compared to, let's say, a very popular ERP like SAP or Microsoft?
Well, so I have been working with QuickBooks on-premise applications for days now. So I can see that is really going well. And those companies who are using QuickBooks on-premise version, they want to have their control over their data. For that reason, they are using QuickBooks on-premise edition, you can say, so that they can have their control on their data, how this is going from one end to maybe another end and something like that. Also, QuickBooks on-premise has their own APIs. Let's say you want to have inventory data, or let's say you want to have your user permissions to be reflected on QuickBooks on-premises. Also, if you have lots of data on transactions files, let's say you want to maintain sales order and you have tons of data to manage all those things, or basically I can say a volume of that. So you can, easily you can manage that via QuickBooks on-premise approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd like to understand this, the second point that I have, and I'd come to the API part because I also have that question. Since you have integrated QuickBooks with third-party applications, so we will talk around QuickBooks API. But the context is that why this on-premise application, which I believe even QuickBooks thought that it will be obsolete, but still being used nowadays in certain companies. What is your thought on that?
Okay, so I can comment on this because you can access that QuickBooks on-premise without internet. Can you imagine in this generation without internet you can using some systems? So it has the capability you can use that without internet as well. Also, as it has their own user flexibility. User friendly, I can say. So this is a benefit of using the on-premise approach for QuickBooks. It is a great benefit of it. Also, who are those companies who are comfortable to using it, they have their own team and they have their already trained team who are comfortable to using that. Also, from my perspective, they don't want to come out of it. So it can be another reason to use.
So I believe the quick on-premise is still being used. One of the reason is what you said, that's correct. It's about data security.
Right.
Because there are a lot of companies nowadays who do not wish to expose their data to any cloud.
Yes.
Be it a third-party cloud, be it any other integration cloud or anywhere else. So for them, on-premise is a preferred choice.
Correct.
A lot of European companies who are following GDPR, I think for them also, this on-premise is a nice to have
Yes.
solution. Not maybe must have nowadays, but nice to have in many cases. And yes, offline usage of a system is also important, because I believe that has also some use cases.
Correct.
There are many companies who wants their accountant or maybe the back office team use the application, be it through internet or without internet. So this gives an option that they can still use an application which is conventional in nature and can meet their day-to-day demands.
Expectations. Correct.
Correct.
You are absolutely right.
So the third question that I have is, when large enterprises, they use QuickBooks and they use ERP systems in parallel. We have seen recently there were inquiries to us where companies are using QuickBooks as an accounting system, as well as SAP or maybe Microsoft or maybe NetSuite as ERP system in parallel within an organization, which we thought that usually this is not an usual scenario. So what is your experience that why organization prefer this kind of approach?
When you first heard that why people or why companies are using in a parallel way both the ERPs, let's say you are using QuickBooks on-premise for their accounting system, and as well as you have SAP Business One, or let's say Microsoft Business Central for their ERP system. So first time when you heard, it sounds some kind of odd, right? But that makes sense actually, because QuickBooks, they can use it for their accounting system, or if you're managing invoicing system, so you can use that for that reason. And SAP, let's say for the big stuffs, maybe you are using, let's say you have your own company, which is the manufacturing company, right? And you are maintaining your inventory on that company. So you can maintain all those things via SAP, like the big stuffs. Also, you can maintain the sales order from the SAP Business One, and any other part, let's say for accounting system and then the invoicing system for the QuickBooks.
So that means the easy to use part or the daily tasks
can be handled by
used. They can use QuickBooks,
yes.
And for the production planning, for purchase planning, for sales operations, for forecasting, they can use SAP as ERP system. I think there is another interesting use to it, that large enterprises who has lot of subsidiaries. So these subsidiaries, I think they do not wish to spend that much in terms of license and implementation for SAP.
You need to have many other licenses for SAP Business One if you want to maintain all those things.
Correct. So in subsidiaries.
Yes.
So subsidiaries who has simpler operations. So the companies who has multiple brands, the companies who has a lot of subsidiaries, they can use QuickBooks in those subsidiaries and in those brands, while the parent company can use SAP for their complex operations. So I think this is an interesting scenario that we have seen recently. And the last question that I have is around integrating QuickBooks with third-party applications. How it can be connected, what are the ways, and what are the, like you mentioned about APIs. So can you please give us more idea around APIs and integration methodologies of QuickBooks on-premise?
So to integrate QuickBooks on-premise with your maybe another system, you need to have your Intuit account. So Intuit account is basically a developer account for QuickBooks, developer console, I can say. So on that particular Intuit account, you need to have your user ID and the password. Via that, you can create your own client ID and client secret, which is needed for validating your, QuickBooks on-premise applications. And as I already mentioned, that it has, public APIs to, some kind of modules, let's say for customers. Maybe a customer is registering themselves in QuickBooks on-premises. On that case, you have the APIs for that. If you want to maintain, products with QuickBooks on-premises, you have the APIs as well. For inventory, for sales order, for accounting system, all the APIs are available.
So these APIs that you are talking about, what are its structure? What kind of APIs is it, and can be easily used by, let's say, any system integrator?
Yes, that can be used by any kind of systems.
So
we need to have the local SDK, developer for using the QuickBooks account.
Okay.
So you need to install that initially to your system, and then you can use that.
Okay. And are the APIs standardized APIs
Yes.
like REST APIs
Yes.
or
Yes.
SOAP, or what kind of APIs is it?
This is basically REST APIs, which
Okay.
is available.
So REST APIs, but it requires
SDK also.
SDK
Local SDK.
for extension, being an on-premise solution.
Correct.
This is not like the cloud-based version which has public APIs which are REST
Right.
APIs.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's all for today that we'd like to share. And it was a nice chat. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And stay tuned with us. We will be releasing more and more videos, more and more topics around these kind of interesting subjects, these kind of market scenarios which we are facing through our day-to-day operations. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.